One of the great laws of existence is that there are, in fact, cycles that occur, you could say in nature, but there are cycles that occur in all aspects of life as it appears. It's something that we know, and it's something, again, that's in accord with this hermetic axiom of as above, so below. And so it's something that we witness wherever we look. When we think in terms of the actual life process, it's something that reveals itself in many, many different cycles. The most obvious ones to us are the cycles of day and night, the seasonal sorts of cycles that regularly appear, disappear, only to reappear again in slightly different forms. Same sorts of cycles are active in the life of the individual, where it is a life that there's a period of incarnation, there's a period of growth, there's a period of dissolution, there's a period which we describe as death, where the consciousness separates from the material form, only to cycle back again. And the same sort of process is described as something that happens with the solar system, and really something that happens at the universal level. So, just as things come into existence, they go out again. In the process, it's described as outbreathing and inbreathing. The outbreathing being what's described by the term of manvantara. So, when there's manvantara, there is the existence of the universe. When it is breathed in, it's described as a process of pralaya, where everything goes back to the source again, to reappear in slightly different form.
So one of the big laws that is emphasized in this philosophy, and there are many, there's probably hundreds actually, but one of them is the law of periodicity. It's said to be one of the three most important cosmic laws that govern everything. The law of periodicity is essentially called by more than that name. It's often called the law of cycles as well. The law of periodicity simply states that everything that's incarnating and in a process of evolution is going to go through cycles of manifestation and abstraction, manifestation and abstraction. So this principle applies on all levels. So, you and I, for instance, or all of us, we sit here and we're in incarnation. But the day will come when we'll abstract ourselves from form and be out of incarnation, only again to come forward again and become more incarnate again. And this is, sometimes in Hinduism, this is called the cycle of manvantara. Manvantara means the out-breath, the life breathing itself into form. And then there's the return, which is called pralaya, the idea of drawing life out of form. And it's through that cycle of out-breath and in-breath and out-breath and in-breath that all evolution occurs. And from the law of periodicity, two other laws emerge that become more relevant to us. In addition to these great incarnational cycles, the so-called law of time is a byproduct or a subset of the law of periodicity. We understand time only because there is a sense of cyclic activity. And on a higher level, there's something called the law of duration, or the principle of duration, which is also rooted in the law of periodicity. The principle of duration is the you might say the place where there's a sense of ongoingness of being. There's a sense of persistence of identity. When, for instance, you are deceased in a physical sense, and your soul the life is drawing back up to the soul and even a little bit beyond, you're moving into what we call the realm of duration, where time as we understand it is shifted, and you are in the place of there's a sense of eternity, a sense of ongoingness. below that, in the realm of form, where the personality lives, mental, emotional, and physical elements of it, that's the realm of time. So let's put it this way. Law of periodicity is the fundamental law at the highest level. Everything has an out-breath and an in-breath, and because of hylozoism, things within everything have an out-breath and an in-breath. But the deeper we go, the more we move through the law of duration into the law of time. And time is what we as personalities are most accustomed to. So what is time? Time, it is said by a great master that time is the experience that arises through the kaleidoscope of forms that present themselves to the indwelling self. The indwelling self, the personality that is, has thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, all of those are coming at it, and that kaleidoscope is experienced as time, whereas duration is free from form. So one big difference here is that duration is formless ongoingness. Time is duration, but it is using form to recognize it.
So esotericism studies the unfolding of consciousness. It studies consciousness in motion, and thus it also studies how the form is affected by that change in consciousness. So it studies how things come into incarnation and die. It studies the cycles of things that we see in form, but are actually a result of the consciousness growing, of the light increasing. If light increases, certain things will have to die in the form life. So it's this great study of birth and death, periodicity, the cycles, and it is the great opportunity to be the observer of this dance.